Hello everybody, I just did a video a minute ago and it was called a reiteration or repeat. That means, I'm talking about African American black love and black unity and everything. So yeah, that's what I'm talking about. I'm talking about love and education. I'm quoting, I'm saying a lot of different things that I'm trying to coincide with the video. Matter of fact, let me go up in here and get this book that I left in here. Let me see. Here it is. Yeah, I'm quoting from this called Patriarchs and Prophets. Patriarchs and Prophets, written by Ellen G. White. So what I would do, I'm gonna go ahead on. I'm gonna get right off into this here. This is a offspring in the genetics of Noah. These are like Korah. The rebellion of Korah is coming from page 35. The rebellion of Korah, and it is actually Moses' cousins. The judgments visit upon the Israelites served for a time to restrain their murmuring. Murmuring was that they was complaining, and insubordination. Insubordination is another word for I would say has to do with rebellious. But the spirit of rebellious was still in the heart, and eventually brought forth the bitterest fruit. The former rebellions had been made mere popular tumults arise from the sudden impulse of the exciting multitude, but now a deep-laid conspiracy. Conspiracy is something like something that was a setup. It has to do with something that somebody like a trick. Somebody tricked. It was like a trick, some kind of trick. Somebody being tricked, persuaded into doing something that was not right. Or conspiracies, like somebody. Other people is being behind it, and you are not aware of something that somebody is trying to harm. That's what I'm saying. It refers to something like that. Okay, it says, but now a deep-laid conspiracy was formed, the results of a determined purpose to overthrow the authorities of the leaders appointed by God himself. Korah, the leading spirit in this movement, was a Levite of the family of Korah and a cousin of Moses. I mean, they was cousins. So Moses was from the tribe. Moses came out of the tribe of the Levites. He was a man of ability and influence. Okay, though appointed to the service of the tabernacle, he had become dissatisfied with his position, and aspired to the deity of the priesthood, the bestower upon Aaron and his house of the priestly offerings, which had firmly devoted upon the firstborn son of every family, had given the raise to jealousy and dissatisfaction. And for some time Korah had been secretly opposing the authorities of Moses and Aaron, though he had not ventured upon any open act of rebellion. He finally conceived and the bold design of overthrowing both the civil and the religious authorities. He did not fail to find sympathizers close to the tents of Korah and the Kohathites. On the south side of the tabernacle was the encampment of the tribes of Reuben. Reuben was the firstborn of Jacob's son, and that was Abraham's grandson, first grandson of the Israelites. And the close to the tents of Korah and the Kohathites on the south side of the tabernacle was the encampment of the tribe of Reuben, the tents of Dathan and Abiram, two princes of this tribe, bearing near that Korah the princes readily joined in his ambitious schemes, being being descendants from the eldest son of Jacob. They claim that the civil authorities belongs to them, and they determined to divide with Korah the honor of the priesthood. The state of the feelings amongst the people favored the designs of Korah and the bitterness of their disappointment. Their former doubts, jealousy, and hatred had returned, and again their complaints was directed against their patient leader, the Israelites. The Israelites were continually losing sight of the fact that they were under divine guidance. They forgot that the angel of the covenant was their invisible leader, that there by the cloudy pillar the presence of Christ went before them. The presence of Christ went before them. That from him Moses received all his directions. They were unwilling to submit to the terrible sentence that they must all die in the wilderness. Okay? And hence they were ready to seize upon every pretext for believing that it was not God, but Moses who was leading them and who had pronounced their doom. Moses pronounced their doom. The best efforts of the meekest man on the earth could not quell the subordination of this people. Although the marks of God's displeasures at their former provisions was still before them. Moses was the meekest man on the earth. And I think it was Miriam and Aaron was the one that spake against Moses. And their broken ranks and missing numbers, they did not take the lesson to heart. Again, they were overcome by temptation. It said the humble shepherd's life of Moses had been far more peaceful and happy than his present position as leader of that vast assembly of triumphant spirit. Okay, y'all, I hope I said that word right. Yet Moses dared not choose in place of a shepherd's crock. A rod of power had been given him, which he could not lay down until God should release him. He who reads the secrets of all hearts had marked the proposing of Korah and his complaints, had gave him his people such warning and instructions as might have enabled them to escape the deception of these designing men. They had seen the judgment of God fall upon Miriam because of her jealousy and complaints against Moses. The Lord had declared that Moses was greater than a prophet. With him I will speak mouth to mouth. Therefore then he added, were ye not afraid to speak against my servant Moses? That's Numbers chapter 12 verse 8. That's what I was talking about. Miriam and Aaron was the one that spoke. These instructions were not intended for Aaron and Miriam alone. Okay, I think it was Aaron and Miriam. But for all Israel. Korah and his followers, conspirators were men who had been favored with special manifestation of God's power and greatness. They were of the numbers who went up with Moses unto the mountain and behold the divine glory. But since that time a change had came, a temptation silent at first had been harboring, and had strengthened as it was encouraged until their minds were controlled by Satan, and they ventured upon their work of this affected, professed great interest in their prosperity of the people. They first whispered their discontent to one another, and then to lead the men of Israel. Their insinuation was so readily received that they ventured still further at last. They really believed themselves to be actuated by zeal for God. They were successful in alienating 250 princes, men of renown in their congregation. With those strong and influential supporters, they felt confidence of making a radical change in the government and greatly improved upon the administration of Moses and Aaron. Jealousy had given raise to envious, and envious to rebellious. They had discussed the questions of the right of Moses to so great authorities and honor, until they had came to regard him as occupying a very invincible position, which any of them could feel as well as he. And they deceived themselves and one another into thinking that Moses and Aaron had themselves assumed the position they held. Okay, so what I'm going to do, I'm going to come back, and I'm going to continue to keep reading, and I'll talk a little bit more about that a little bit later. So I stopped right here on page 397. So I'll come back and I will talk more about that. So I love the African American men and women. Thank you all for watching, and thank you for listening, and I will be back with another live edition of another episode. So I want you all to stay tuned. So alright, I'll be back. Bye.